Hey everybody, this is Vince from HBCU Original, and this is the Spotlight Hour. Today's show is also brought to you.
Today's show is sponsored by HA English Basketball Camps. Want to be a sponsor? Email us for more info. Now back to the show.
Yo, good day, everybody, everywhere. Man, I'm excited about this one, y'all. We got a real one on deck. We got a legend in the building, man. Woo! I'm excited about it. Yo, hey, I'm gonna try my best to give this brother some justice. But he has been such a pivotal part in my life, has been an inspiration to so many. And so I just want to introduce to some and really present to others my brother AJ English. AJ, a former NBA basketball player, Howard High School state champion, 1985. Listen, Delaware High School Player of the Year, 1986, Virginia Union University, NCAA Division II National Player of the Year in 1990, drafted by the Washington Bullets in 1990, and we are taking a deep dive into the life of this gentleman that had done so many exceptional things, has raised the bar, has caused people to be inspired. He has renewed the mind, upgraded the thinking, and changed the status of so many young people, including myself. And I'm excited. HBCU community, we got on deck none other than my main man, AJ English in the building, yo. Hey, what's up, baby?
You, I'm good, man. How the brothers, man?
It's happening. Woo, man. Listen, go ahead, Vince.
And so, AJ, we wanted to start off, man. I really, because having ties from Delaware and athletic programs, such, you have been an inspiration to me. With me coming through, and I'm not even a basketball player, but I'm a track and field athlete. But I watched you coming up. I admired you. I said one day I'm gonna go to the Olympics. So I told John, I was telling Mike and him, running track. A lot of people don't even know you were an inspiration though. And one of the questions, for me personally, coming from a small state like Delaware, and you being one of the first professional athletes out of Delaware, actually, how has that been? I guess for you, how has it been a inspiration? As far as coming from a small state and then coming to the NBA, like how has that formed your life and the lives of others?
Yeah, well, yeah. In the beginning, man, it wasn't about. I don't even think it was about the inspirational part. I was being inspired, like from guys like Terrence Stansberry, who I grew up around the corner, and once I seen that Terrence could do it, I knew it was possible that it could be done. So for me, it was the inspiration part was being able to change the zip code, man. I grew up on the west side of Wilmington, then we ended up moving on to the north side of Wilmington, and seeing my mom struggle, work 2 jobs and the whole nine, man. So that was my inspiration early on, and then as life goes on, man, and you get on the other side of it, man, and then you start walking in that purpose, man, and aligning, your goals to what God wants His will to be done in your life, and that's when I started, reaching back and giving back, man, and really found my passion.
Wow. Yeah, man. That I think for me, playing with you, playing alongside of you. I remember we played in Philadelphia and against the Delaware All-Stars, the Philadelphia All-Stars.
Yes, sir.
And that was a real good game, and seeing everybody rallied around you for inspiration. Like, we all saw you as that dude, and I think playing with you helped sort of step our game up.
Mhm.
because when I got on that was like one of the major times where I was able to get on the floor with you, and we were a united front. All of us
Mhm.
playing, me, you, Mark Harris, Bob Black, all of us. We
Absolutely.
was all playing
Yeah.
together, and it
Yeah.
was a great time.
Mhm.
And so, man, when you look back over your life, man, what are some of the real values that sort of fuel you to really play at this high level and have that high expectation for yourself?
Man, just being consistent with the work, man. Um, Sometimes the production doesn't isn't indicative of the work. You're gonna have bad days. You play this game long enough, it's gonna be situations where it's like a lid over the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But what I never did was I never shied away from the work. I always put the work in. I'm still that way. I'm still up in the morning, working out and in the gym. If I'm not in the office, I'm training kids, helping them find situations as far as college are concerned, man. So more so than anything, man, I just stay consistent with the work ethic.
Mm, mm. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good because it was, you know, being in those spaces, really challenges you at so many different levels. So many different levels to really challenge you. So
Mhm.
that was one of the things that I wanted to sort of ask you about because I want this to be such an inquisitive kind of interview because I'm looking at it from even a young brother's perspective that
Mhm.
has aspirations
Mhm.
of playing at that next level, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I want to, when you were playing with, with the Washington Bulls, I remember a game you were playing against the Philadelphia 76ers. And I remember I was
Mhm.
at the game because when you came out at the end, and I was so glad that, that we had to we were able to touch bases.
Mhm.
During that time, what was one of the most defining moments in playing on that level that you can remember? What is something that sort of is in your head about that time?
The crazy part, John, is I never had that wow factor. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because
Mm,
I always thought that I belonged.
mm,
mm.
So even before I got there, I was fortunate enough to play on a USA Olympic sponsor team in the
mm.
Jones Cup my
Yeah, I
sophomore year.
remember that.
Wow.
And we toured China, in China, in Taipei, the Republic of China, and we ended up winning the gold. I led the team in scoring. Now, I was the only black college player on the team, the only
Wow.
Division II player on the guy
Wow.
on the team, and Sean Kemp, Billy Owens, Greg Anthony,
Wow.
Felton Spencer, you know
Wow.
what I'm saying? Elridge Rick Kastner, so all of the guys end up LaFonso Ellis. So all of the guys end up playing in the NBA, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they were okay with allowing me to be the leading guy. Now they didn't give it to me; I earned it. I earned it in
Mm,
practice, and God rest his soul. I had Big House Gaines, who was a legendary, Coach Earl, the Pearl Monroe, Division II
Yeah,
HBCU guy. He was a
yeah.
coach, so he was familiar with me.
Mm,
He was familiar with me, and he allowed me to be who I was. And so once I got through that summer, that was the summer of '88. Um, these guys were going to be lottery picks and top five, and some of these guys were top 5, 10 picks,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I was able to still be who I was amongst those guys. I never had a wow factor. And when I got to the NBA, it was like, okay, I was honestly pissed off that I was drafted 37th and I was supposed to go 22, 22, 23, 24 when they started talking about my name and
right.
started
yeah,
mentioning me, man. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's just the defining moment was like I still got to prove myself. So
yeah.
that's how I approached it.
Let me ask you a question about even before the NBA,
Hmm.
Virginia Union.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Give me, if you could sum it up all in once, your experience. at Virginia Union. How would you sum it up?
My saving
How
grace.
mm,
My saving grace.
wow.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
the only
Mm.
Division II school that I visited, I was being recruited by UNLV, Villanova, Providence, DePaul.
Wow.
I was top
Mm.
48. Messed around in my grades. My
Wow.
sophomore year, I was leading the state in scoring and
Yeah.
flunked off the team. You know,
Wow.
we
Wow.
didn't win the state championship that year, so the next year I tightened up and we won the states and all of that. But
Mm.
by me messing around most of my freshman and sophomore year, it affected me being able to take a Division I scholarship. So I would have had to either sit out a
Okay.
year, go to the JUCO route, or I can go into Division II at the time and play right
Mm,
away.
right.
Mm.
So um, Division Mr. DeShazer, who was the assistant principal at Del Castle at the time,
Belcast, yeah.
Mm.
and he
Oh,
he
yeah.
had
That was my
yeah.
that was my principal.
Wow. Wow. And he reached out to Coach Robbins, who they played semi pro football together.
Okay.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And so Coach reached out to me. Only two Division II schools reached out to me because nobody else thought I was even looking at Division II, was Coach Robbins and Big House Gaines.
Big house
Mm.
game.
And Coach Robbins got me over Big House Gaines because Charles Oakley came into play.
Wow.
Mm.
So the year I came, Oak had just left the year before, and he was the number 9 overall pick by Cleveland. Then was traded to Chicago to the Bulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get down there, and of course I played. Coach offered me right on the spot, and Oak told me, he's like, they really want you. You can do the same thing here that you can do at any other school or whatever. And that was kind
Mhm.
of, that was it. And I didn't get there. It wasn't success right away. I was on the team with two other NBA guys. My
Mhm.
roommate for 3 years, who played in the league, Terry Davis, 13, 14 years, and Jamie Waller, who was a man on the team my freshman year. I had to play the point guard.
Wow.
Mm.
Um, Jamie Waller was drafted by the Nets the last year they had more than 2 rounds. So
Wow.
he's a man on the team. So, Virginia Union gave me an opportunity to come in and play right away. Um, so it was my saving grace. We might want it one way, God always knows
Mm.
what's best for us, man. So
Definitely. Definitely.
a blessing deferred doesn't mean a blessing denied, and so that's kind of what it was, man. So I would, to this day, my best friends, some of my business partners, is because of Virginia Union.
Yeah. That's
And
good,
some,
man.
and some of you guys listening out there to the show, you heard it. You heard what he said. A saving grace, and also, um, you can still come from Division II school, HBCU, and make it.
Oh, I was going to say black college, bro. Like, listen, man, I'm HBCU, man. Like, if I me knowing what I know now on the other side of this, I wouldn't have want to do it any other way than how it was done.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
when you look at the HBCU landscape, and seeing, like, you know they don't get the dollars for the
Mm-hmm.
NIL, and I think, like, Stan Waterman just lost the point guard from that.
He lost two. He
Yeah.
Yeah,
lost two of his best players.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to get your take on that. What do you think about this NIL situation?
Well, it is what it is. Now, I think of it two ways, right? The first way is like, if you earn it, then you deserve it. So
Mm,
a lot of times we're coming from single parent homes, we're
Mhm.
coming from not so good situations, and so you want to take care of your parents. Most kids aren't going to get drafted in the NBA. Most kids aren't going to ever play professional basketball. So if
Mhm.
you have an opportunity to be able to earn an income while this school is making money off of you, I say, man, listen, go for it. All right.
Yeah.
But what that causes, it causes a further divide into the schools that have the resources and the schools that don't have the resources to be able to
Mhm.
do that. So back then when I went to Black College, it wasn't just AJ English. Like, in the CIAA at the time, it was 5 or 6 NBA guys
Mm.
that end up playing in the NBA. Daryl Armstrong was in there during that time as well.
Mm.
Excuse me, so The kid Kenny Williams that ended up getting drafted by the Pacers. He at Elizabeth City State. He was in the CIAA as well.
Mm.
Ralph Talley, who was drafted by the Lakers,
I remember him. Yeah.
third round, he was in the CIAA as well. And I was on the team with two other NBA guys besides myself. And 3 years later, Ben Wallace comes right after me. So
Wow.
Division II HBCU in particular were getting those level of players. It's
Yeah.
not like that anymore. It's
Gosh,
not
no,
it's not like that
yeah,
anymore. I don't know when I think, the kid that played at Shaw, Flip Murray from Philadelphia, I think he might be one of the last kids that was drafted out of HBCU. And
Mm.
that's been years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So back then the CIAA was just a hotbed, man. And so I tell the kids now, because I train a lot of kids, I help a lot of kids through my student athlete program, and I
Mm-hmm.
send a lot of kids to major Division I schools.
Yeah.
Because listen, man, you only gonna get a chance, an opportunity to dribble that ball maybe 10, 12, 13 years if you're lucky to
Mm-hmm.
make a living. Then you got to make a living afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be older way longer than you're gonna be young, so you got to put
yeah,
yourself in a position
yeah,
networking wise where your reach is beyond what it is. Like I come from a different I come from a different cloth, man. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna make it
No doubt.
happen, you know what I'm saying? You just got to
yeah.
give us the opportunity. But a lot of these kids, they come from an entitlement situation, and
Mm.
they don't have that hustle in them. So
Yeah.
it is what it
Yeah.
is. So I say put yourself in a position where you can be successful once you leave the court as well.
Yeah. And
That's me.
I remember you playing. You when you played for the Bullets, you were playing behind Calvert Cheney, right?
No, I was playing when I first got there. I was playing behind Liddell Eccles.
Liddell
Liddell
Evans.
Eccles and Daryl Walker was the starting point guard. But by the end of the year, I was starting
Yes,
at
you
the
were.
two. And then my
Yeah.
next year, I started. Then they kept flip flopping me back from starter, six man. We had and then so Rex Chapman came.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
remember.
then yeah, and then Calvert came when I went back to them. I went to camp with them afterwards. Then Calvert was there, but then they offered me a 3-year deal. My agent didn't think it was enough because I was starting most of the games that year. I was the fourth leading scorer on the team, and that's how I ended up overseas. Now looking
Yeah.
back, I wouldn't have done that. I would have took the deal,
It's a,
because I'd have been worried about the pension and all of that. But I wasn't looking that far down the road. So, but
Right.
yeah.
and I think it's so important to have. And back then, did you have mentors? Did you have somebody that would have advised you and saying, "Hey, I think you need to take this."
Nah, I had
Mhm.
people with their hands out, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that
Yeah.
that and people guiding you in the direction that was going to benefit them as well. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I didn't have a AJ English, and I tell all those guys. I still call him Carolina. I tell Bones, Eric Ayala, my own son AJ, who
Yeah.
was playing over in Europe. I tell them all. I didn't have me.
Yeah.
I didn't have somebody that it wasn't about the dollar. It wasn't about what I can and cannot get from you. It would have been
Hmm.
about more. So you know what? You need to really think about this and think long and start, looking at your trajectory and what it's going to be 10 years from now and things of that nature. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why
Yeah.
I do what I do.
And let me ask you a question about the. I know you have the camps that you run.
Mhm.
How did you actually get that started? This is your second annual or your third?
No, this actually my 26th, seventh annual, but this is
Mhm.
the
Oh,
second annual down at Howard. I
okay.
finally took
Mhm.
it back to Howard.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been doing it for a long
No.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing camps, man. My first job off the basketball court was executive director of a community center, and my boys were probably like seventh grade,
Hmm.
sixth grade, some fifth grade, somewhere around there. And I
Hmm.
started the camps because I was training them.
Training. Okay.
Hmm.
And as
Yeah.
they were getting better, a lot of the other parents was like, "What are you doing with your kids?" You know what I mean? We
Mhm.
want, So then I ended up taking a head coaching job over at Salem Community College, and
Hmm.
the city of Wilmington was nice enough to give me buses for like 2 or 3 summers to ship all of the better kids over to Salem Community College over in Carneysville.
Oh,
That's
Wow.
how that's when the
wow,
camp
wow.
started. That was
Yeah.
That was 2003, four.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like maybe two, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how we started. And then we were doing it at AI High School. We were doing it at McKean. We did some at Sanford, out there with Stan Waterman, yeah, man. So we were all over. But they said the second annual, that's because I finally went back
Okay.
home and,
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
my scholarship fund back up there, the whole nine. So, yeah, just giving back to where it started. That's all.
Yeah. That's good too, because going back to what you were talking about, they didn't have an AJ. You
Mhm.
didn't have an AJ English.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at Zion Williamson, I was watching an interview with him,
Mhm.
and you know, um, he was just really talking about like how he didn't have that inner circle of mentors to really help him through the influences and all the things that happen, you know, as you're making this kind of money. And now not only that, but now you have ascended to a degree of status where you're going to get the kind of attention that a normal person wouldn't get. He didn't know how to navigate through any of that.
Mhm.
And so he finds himself in these situations where he was hurt at one time
Mhm.
and he was getting a little overweight. And then he's just sort of open game for people like you were talking about with their hands out
Mm.
and people that are looking to take advantage of a young man like that.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think that mentorship is so underrated. It
Oh,
need
big time.
it is because it's so important because it's the bridge from where you are now to really where you really could be
Mm.
having that expertise or somebody to
Oh, for
just
sure.
Yeah.
care. So
Oh, for sure.
I want you to speak to that because there's a lot of young guys, these renegades out here, and they're young people that actually don't even know how impactful it is to have somebody like an AJA.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, listen. That's the reason. First of all, I can imagine what these guys are going through, man. At his level, man, I came along where it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. You tap $1 million or whatever, you made you some money or whatever. These cats are getting that off the rip. They
Off the
getting
rip.
that and averaging 3 points in 3 minutes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally. So I told my
Yeah,
mom all the time, like, Mom, 25, 30 years, if you'd have waited 25, 30 years later on, you know what I'm saying? It could have been totally different. But the mentoring piece is why I started my mentoring program, English Lessons Youth Mentoring Program,
mm,
and it wasn't just because of the basketball part. The basketball part, I started with Mayor Baker, the student athlete program. I started
Mm.
mm,
that before I even started the English Lessons Youth Mentoring Program. And so a lot of times we had the guys like Richard Johnson in the Boys and
yeah,
Girls Club.
mm,
You had Gil Jackson. You had Trip. You had guys, like at Mr. Sheehy at Hicks
mm,
Anderson.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
West Center City at the time. So I saw what a positive, successful black man supposed to look like. You
mm,
know, as it's a shift. It's been a shift in the communities nowadays where the kids aren't venturing into these to the boys and girls clubs and these type of programs, so they kind of out here just trying to figure it out on their own.
yeah,
you know
yeah,
so
yeah,
it takes guys like myself and guys that come from the same demographic that these kids
Yeah.
are trying to navigate through to be able to say, man, nah, that ain't the way you do it, young buck.
yeah,
And
yeah,
because I played ball, and a lot of times, especially with the kids that I deal with, they wanted to always do something that they dreamed about, something that I did so I can get their attention right away.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
But when I pour into them, they find out it's way more layers than to Mr.
Yeah.
AJ or
yeah.
Big A than just basketball,
Sure,
man. Like
sure,
I'm
sure,
not,
sure.
yeah, I'm not having that conversation with you because that's not where you are.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
not where you are. All right, but let me help you, decide on a career path, and let me help you figure out a way that we can make you successful.
mm-hmm.
And and it might still be in sports, but it might not be dribbling the ball or throwing a football or catching a baseball.
Sure,
So
sure.
what I do now is the Rise program at the Team Warehouse, that's what we do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have a program there where we paying the kids to actually come through the 8 week cohort, and
Mm-hmm.
then we actually pay for their certifications. It can be plumbing, it could be their CDLs, it could be
Yeah,
HVAC,
yeah.
or
Beautiful.
whatever it may be, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what we've been doing, man. I've been blessed, with a lot of support, to be able to fund these ventures, and
yeah.
my mentor now is an 81-year-old white man,
Mm,
Dave Cisco. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
On the
yeah.
business side of this thing, and he's just been so instrumental to a lot of the things that I've been able to do, and don't have to charge the kids anything.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
You
wow.
know, and funny story, he was drafted by the Baltimore Bullets in '67.
Oh,
Wow, wow,
what's his
Yeah,
name?
Dave Cisco, one of the
Hey,
best players that
Cisco.
ever played at University of Delaware. And
wow.
his name is still up on the
It- it-
scoring list, and
Oh
they weren't
wow.
paying no money back then. And
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
became
I
an
can imagine.
engineer. Yeah, then he became a CEO of some foundations or whatever. So he's one of the reasons that
Dave
Kingswood Community
Cisco.
Center, Browns Boys and Girls Club, he started the Future Stars when they named it, when it
Oh,
was Norman Oliver Future Stars. That was Dave Cisco.
Wow,
okay.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah, yeah. So
okay.
and so he and then we've been doing business together probably like 5 years or so now. And he told me, he said, AJ, I'm going to help you with what you're doing. He says, and I said, I appreciate that, Mr. Cisco. He said, oh, call me Dave. He says, because you're doing God's work.
Yeah,
That's what he
yeah,
said
Yeah.
to me.
yeah,
Very-
Yeah.
yeah.
And
No doubt, no doubt.
and when I mean that's my guy, like I probably spend more time with him than people that I grew up with, and family members, man.
And you know what?
Just yeah.
That's really extremely important. And I want to talk about that. You know, today I was reading and I saw Lawrence Taylor
Mhm.
is back in the news for, he just has some struggles that he really never really finally dealt with. And
Right.
now
Mm,
he
Right.
finds himself reoffending again, like things like that.
Wow.
mm.
I wanted
Wow.
to ask you, like, how did you move without the ball? How
Uh,
who 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 helped you? I mean, was it this gentleman or what? Like because guys today are now being prepared
mhm.
to come in the league as businessmen,
Oh,
Yeah, they are.
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
That the
Mhm.
preparation. But
Yeah.
when you came,
Mhm.
that didn't exist.
No,
No.
not at all.
So now you coming in the league, now your career is is declining in the sense of not being able to play anymore physically,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, and you overseas and all that. What
Mhm.
was that transition like when you had to move without the ball?
It was tough, man. I mean, in the beginning, it was tough because everybody go through, what am I going to do now?
Mm.
Because most of my life is just getting prepared to go to practice, play a game, spend some time with the family, and do this thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, I don't have to worry about a bill. I don't have to worry about, how this is going to get taken care of. So, you know, the transition was tough because I had to figure it out. You know what I mean? I had to
Yeah.
figure it out. So, you know, for me, I don't know nobody else. I don't know how anybody else dealt with it. So you go through a
Mm.
little depression. You go through,
Yeah.
like whoa, like okay, like but my grandma used to say this to me all the time. She says, be careful how you treat people on the way up, because those are the same people you got
Yeah.
to
On the way
You're
pass
down.
gonna see
back
on the
on the
way
way
down.
down.
Exactly.
On the way down.
Exactly.
And so, because I've always been going back to consistent to who A was,
Mm-hmm.
um, people weren't just opening, they weren't just opening their arms, say, come on, brother, step from this career and come on in this career. Because, excuse me, now it might be an intimidation factor there, or maybe because my name, might, you know, people might want to deal with me, and then now they're worrying about if I want their position or not,
Mm.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ran into that a little bit. God rest his soul, Maurice Pritchett.
Mm.
Um, he,
Mm-hmm.
he taught me how to start running my program. Me and Storm really started doing some stuff off the
Yeah.
court. But even with that, they wanted me to be a worker, man. And I was like, man, I like that. No, that ain't who
Yeah.
I, you know what I'm saying?
You had a
Like
Yeah.
bigger
I need
you had
to,
a bigger vision than that.
No
yeah,
doubt.
yeah, yeah,
No
much
doubt.
bigger, much bigger, man. And so,
Mhm.
but what I was, they said, before you can become a good leader, you got to become a good follower. So what
Yeah.
I did was I humbled myself. I took some positions, and I just did what I had to do to learn the business,
Hmm.
And then
Mhm.
I got my program, and unfortunately, it was another, white gentleman.
Yeah.
Matthew Sorensen. I took my program down to Northern Virginia at TC
Hmm.
Williams, and
Oh,
I started my mentoring program down there with a
TC.
Wow.
friend of mine. With a friend of mine, and he gave me an opportunity to bring my program back up here to Delaware at the Delaware Met.
Yeah.
When they
Okay.
closed down the Delaware Met, he put me with the Secretary of Education at the time, Mr.
Hmm.
Blowman, and DOE contracted me, and that's how I got into the schools.
That's how you got in
Oh,
school. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
got into the schools. So what I did was, to answer your question, what I did was, man, I stayed prayerful, and
Hmm.
then after I got through my struggles, I started realizing, listen, it is what it is, but what you've done, they can't take from you,
They
That's
and
can't.
right.
you gotta leverage yourself off of that.
Yeah.
Because we all have struggles, man.
Mhm.
We all have things we had to overcome in
Yeah.
our
No doubt.
lives, man.
Hmm.
But a lot of people don't get to the point where they address those things head on and start looking themselves in the mirror and say, oh, okay, like, how do I need to get myself out of the way so God can start doing what he do? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They say when you
Mhm.
work, he rests, but when you rest, he work. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So
Always.
but you gotta rest in him. Like, you gotta
Yes,
Always.
rest
sir.
in him. And that doesn't mean not doing anything and just going to
Yeah.
bed and laying on the couch and just doing nothing. But
Exactly.
but your spirit has to rest in him, knowing that whatever you pray for, that he gonna see it through. Like, that good work he started in you, he got it. That has to be finished. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No doubt.
Then I
No doubt.
realized that I made the NBA not because it was to make money or do whatever. Yeah, I was supposed to take my family out of the situation we were in, but you know, it was so many kids I was gonna have to help afterwards.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Hmm.
um, and here I am now, 57 years old, man, living my best life, man.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's
I
what I
love
want. I
that.
wanted to ask you a question about the students. So, and I know you just said, you helping your family out, and you
Mhm.
also had to help out the community as well. You felt a
Mhm.
responsibility. For those kids who are on the line, um, who may, want to go to college, but they're scared.
Mhm.
They don't have the support. They don't have maybe. They're not goal oriented. What can you say to them to inspire them to move forward? Maybe go to college or get a trade, or because some students, they just graduate and just graduate. They're
Mhm.
sitting at home and they're not doing anything, when they could be probably doing greater things, becoming greater people.
Yeah.
How can you inspire them? I just want to have an input, or have your input on what would you say to those students coming out of high school anyway?
Right.
Um,
I say the analogy I use to the kids all the time, man. Like, when you're at the bottom of a mountain, man, right? Either you're gonna equip yourself with the shoes to be able to climb up that mountain, or you're gonna be able to reach out and yell out and scream for somebody to throw you a rope so you can pull yourself up that mountain.
mm,
Mhm.
So if you're sitting there and you're not asking those questions, like we're in a technology age, bro. It's not nothing that you want to know that's not at your fingertips.
That's
mm,
right.
mm,
So nobody's going to do it for you, but
Hmm.
when you reach out to people in programs, and just reach out to people that are doing, and once you type that in, all of the resources are going to come up.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
the resources are going to come up. And I know at the Team Warehouse, what we do, we partner you with people that are in that career field, that
Mhm.
that would mentor you to
Yeah.
help you get to those goals. So Delaware is one of the few states in the country, man, that there's not an issue that they don't have resources for.
mm.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
this
That's.
big
Mhm.
HBCU push right now, like, I think Tony Allen will be in this meeting with us on Monday.
Yeah, Tony
Like,
Allen.
man, like man, listen, they making it almost easy for you to be able to go to school. If you're transferring out of foster care
You
system,
heard him.
you can
Mm.
go to college for free.
You heard
Yes.
you heard
Yeah.
him.
For
You heard
for
him.
free.
For free.
So
So
Yeah, so there's no reason, and they can reach out. I'm always easy to find, man. And if I don't know the answer, then I'm gonna put you with the people that can help you find the answers that you're looking for, if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think is I think if you don't do it, it's because you don't want to do it, not that the help is not out there for you
Yeah,
to
it's not out
get
there.
going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You know what? I wanted to ask you because I know you mentored Bones,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to what what was it about him that made you feel like that he had it, like he had it, he could actually do it. What was it about him? Was it one thing or was it a couple things?
It was him. It was him being him. Like he's always been true to him. Like he would call me and say, Big A, you know, I don't have no ride to the gym. And I
mm,
said, all right, well you can come, but I might not leave until he'll sleep in the bleachers and then get out there and work out with the older guys when they come in as well. You
Mm,
mm,
know, um, he wanted to be around the game all the time. He was a gym rat. And
hmm.
he never shied away with saying, you know what, I'm a Christian first,
Hmm.
and this is who I am.
Yeah.
Um, and he stayed true to himself, man. It wasn't nothing
mm,
that I did. All he told me, he said to me, they just had an article in WDL the other day. He didn't tell me he was doing an article, but they were talking about his inspiration for doing these camps and stuff that he's going to do. He's going to have his camps down at St. George's.
Yeah.
And he says, I used to go to AJ English camps when I was young, and I always loved how he gave back. And he said I always wanted to do that.
Mm,
So that was our connection. Our connection, the basketball part, I was gonna tell him the truth.
hmm.
If you out here you BSing, I'm not gonna pull no punches. I'm not
mm,
gonna stroke you. Like I'm not a fan. I'm a supporter.
Yeah.
you know, and then me keeping myself together where I could still go out there and show them what I was telling them.
Hmm.
That made it easier because I could give them a visual as well. But he used to look up all of them, him, Eric Ayala, all of them. They were looking up to Little A and how Little A was going about his work.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with him is he was just true to who he is. Like
Yeah.
he didn't tell you that he never let on that you were better than him. He
Hmm.
didn't care.
Hmm.
He wasn't backing down from no smoke. And Rob Wright, Gary be the same way out
yeah.
of Baylor. And
Yeah.
Rob
I heard.
Wright,
I
Gary
heard.
be the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
way.
Bell. Yeah. I heard about him. I heard he's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
cloth. Rob was coming there at 8, 9 years old, would cry because he just wasn't quite there, whatever. Now, here we go. 10 years later, man, he's on his way.
You know, on his
Mm,
way. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, man. And to God be the glory
All of it, all of it,
of
bro.
all of it, man, and what He has been able to do, man.
Man,
Through your life and these young people being able to pull on you and talk to you and all that. That means so much, man. I mean, you just really can't get away from that because you need a blueprint to follow.
yeah.
You need a
yeah, we all do.
blueprint of inspiration. Somebody, I mean,
Yeah.
to have that is such a benefit. And I
Hmm.
think kids have the leverage that they have being able to reach out to an AJ. And if
Anytime.
nothing else, he's gonna get in my ear and say
Hmm.
something that I know he's gonna be honest, but
Oh, for sure.
he's also gonna empower me and
Hmm.
give me some tools for travel and tools for the journey. He's gonna give me exactly what it is I need to take my life to
Hmm.
that next level.
Hmm.
And I love that about you, man. I want you,
Appreciate it.
and we're gonna close in a minute. And this is so
Mhm.
good. I wish we could go another hour, right?
Now I
there's
got
so
stuff to
much
do, man. I
there, there's so much
mean,
here, but I want I want you to share your faith and how much of a part does your faith play in everything that you have been able to do up to this point?
man, you great. Give me the crying. Listen, everything, bro. Everything. I gave my life to the Lord at 8 years old, man. And
Mm,
I gave my life to the Lord because that joy that my grandma used to have in church, God rest her soul, I wanted that.
Yeah.
mm,
So when I walked up to the church, man, she just in front of the church when they had the altar call, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, so I can get, to become a member of the church and all of that, man. And I didn't understand the why then. The
Okay.
why came later on, but the want was there.
Yeah.
The want was there, but the why manifest itself when I had my trials and my tribulations, and like I wasn't immune to this everyday thing called life. You know what I mean? Some of
Yeah.
my friends were, you know, got murdered. Went to jail. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
that's what we grew up in, and
Hmm.
so when I didn't have, it's crazy, man, because I didn't know he was all I needed until he was all I had.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know,
Praise God.
you
Mm.
know. And
Yeah.
so when I got to the point he was all I had, then it was like, okay, because it's a when they talk about redemption now, think about it. You can't be redeemed for something if you ain't go through nothing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So what
Exactly.
is he redeeming you from? You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So, but once he gets to the point where, then your redeemer, then he's showing you how he lives and how he's going to take the wheel now.
Yeah.
I need you to get out of there and get on the other side. You know what I mean? You can stay in the
Yeah.
car, but just get on the other side. Let
Yeah.
me let,
Yeah. Yeah.
let
Yeah.
me let me let me do the driving, man. And
All paths,
once
man.
I allowed him to do that, once I allowed him to not work on me but work through me,
Yeah.
then things started manifesting itself, man. And
Yeah, I like it, man.
so this journey, man, has been I made it more difficult. I tried to mess it up. He said no.
Yeah.
He
we
said
all
no.
we all we
Nah,
all do
man.
we all do that.
Yeah,
I would tell
yeah,
somebody, I said all paths. People don't realize this in life. All paths. I don't care from good to
yeah.
bad. They all
Talk
lead
about it.
back. They all lead back to
Talk
God.
about it. Talk about it.
Now you
Yeah.
go through certain struggles. It's almost just like the rain. It's like the raindrops. They all lead back to the big pond
Absolutely.
or the ocean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
goal is to get back to Him and at least be cleaned up a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
at
That's
least
good.
at the very end.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. Oh
So
yeah. That's all it's about, man. So I don't ever shy away from that. That's why I don't work for nobody, because they can't tell me what to say and how to say it.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's I'm gonna let you know when you ask me how I got it done. I'm gonna tell you who got it done for me. You
Yeah. Come
know,
on. There you go.
So you know that's kind of where I am with it. And when that man said that to me, that was his attraction to me, because you're doing God's work. That was confirmation to me. You know what I mean? God ain't gonna ever give
Mm,
you anything that He's not gonna confirm. So,
mm.
Wow.
so that's like, so to answer your question, brother John,
Yeah.
all of it,
All
All
of
of
it.
199%,
All of it.
and that's a number, man. You know what I mean? Not a little bit, not some, but all. Yeah, and he said he's going to perfect those things that are concerning us, man. And that's
it. Yeah.
that's but you got to make yourself available for that. So
Make
Awesome.
it
Awesome.
listen if you're listening to us today, HBCU family, make yourself available, please.
there you go.
If you're
Amen.
having struggles in life,
Amen.
um, make
Talk
yourself
about it.
available. Just talk
Talk
to them.
about it. That's it.
Um, and definitely, if those who are looking to reach out to AJ English, we do have his information below
Oh
302
yeah.
757 2325.
Hmm.
Also, is there a website, AJ, or I
Yeah,
know,
man. They can go on the Team Warehouse website. They can go on, and they can
oh,
just look up the link. Just type in AJ English, man, and all
Hmm.
the information, how to reach me, the things I'm involved with, all of that, all of that'll come up, man.
and the team
Yeah.
warehouse is located in Wilmington, Delaware. On which street is that? Which
Thatcher.
street is it?
On
Thatcher
Thatcher
Street.
Street.
Thatcher Street.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
Hmm.
man. So doing some real, really nice things for the kids there, man, and and directing them to college and career paths. It's not just colleges, but career paths and the whole nine, man. So some really good things are going on there. Yeah,
That's
Maybe one day
good.
we
beautiful
can bring the
situation.
kids on. Can we bring some of your students on? Maybe one day.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, for
Because
sure,
I mean,
man.
especially the ones who may be interested in doing what we're doing, media
Absolutely,
production and things of that nature. Because
absolutely,
everything we do here
absolutely.
is in house.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
So
go. There you
we're
go.
able to show kids. We want to show kids, give them
There you go.
opportunity.
It's all about empowering, man. That's it.
So,
Yeah.
My man.
John, take us out.
Yeah.
You got
Hey, listen,
Powerful.
everybody. This has been
Powerful
a absolutely awesome treat for me, man. I just feel like a fly on the wall right here.
message.
But this brother, man, is just, his legacy, just his person, him, and all that he embodies in the things of God. And this is why it all works and it all comes together.
Amen.
One of the things here at HBCU community, we like to say, listen, work like it depends on you, but pray like it depends on God,
Amen.
because it depends on him to make everything happen. He is the reason for our season. And he's no respecter of person, but he is a respecter of his word. So we love ability, but we really love availability. And I know God loves that. So make yourself available for somebody else today.
Amen.
All right. Listen, God bless you. Thank you, brother AJ English.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. I love you to
Yes,
life,
sir,
brother.
man. Love
Keep
you
doing
more,
what you
brother. Love you
keep
more.
doing what you're doing,
Yes,
baby.
sir.
All
Got
right,
you.
man. That's
All
good.
right. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank
Y'all
you.
be safe.
Hey, listen,
Stay
if you
blessed.
would like to donate to us, just stay tuned and for our ad.
Donate to the HBCU original cause. Help out our broadcast to continue to get out quality info to the viewers.